What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Red and Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Matt Llewellyn and Mike Andrews, Nothing But Niners. We are here recapping the 49ers Week 6 30-19 loss. This one is going to be a tough show to recap all the bad things that happened today. Before I toss it over to the guys, if you're tuning in on X, make sure you hit like and repost. Hop in the stream, share your thoughts. If you're tuning in on YouTube, do us a solid, hit like, subscribe, hop in the chat. We want to hear your thoughts, and also hop in Nothing But Niners account and share your thoughts there. Subscribe there as well. Now that I got that out of the way, Matt, how you doing this afternoon?
Oh, man, I'd say I told you guys so. I know we talked about it last, but I think I was the only one who predicted a 2-score win for the Bucs, and that's exactly what happened. Now, it didn't go down exactly the way that I thought it would, but it wasn't good. It was ugly, and so I don't know, man. I think the 49ers have some things to do to get prepped for 26. So any Super Bowl aspirations should be out the window in all fans' minds.
Mike, how you doing?
I was agreeing with everything Matt said to the very last sentence there. I still feel like there's some reinforcements coming. We're going to get to some we're going to talk about the roster decisions that they made today, who was active and who wasn't, who played and who didn't. And I think that, this is a bad loss. Let's be very clear what we're talking about here. But I think that there's some things that you could take away from this game that may be positive. It was more negative than anything. And we'll talk about the injuries and all that kind of stuff later on. But this game was a tough one to watch. This was a tough one to follow, mainly because up until like the very last drive, like the Niners were in it and they had a chance. Yeah. They were in it and they had a legitimate chance in coming back and at least tying this thing. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting here saying, do they go for two if they get in the end zone, or do they just try to take the one? But either way, you need a field goal at the end. So I was like, fuck it, go. Like I'm convincing myself early, like you can't go wrong with going for two. But we're going to talk about all the woes, the personnel decisions that were made and all that, and about how this team handles injured players and the ones coming back from injury also. I would like us to discuss that also.
Yeah, so we'll start off here. Obviously, the biggest news of the day. Fred Warner, early on in the game, was it first quarter, second quarter, or still, gets rolled up on. Unfortunately, it looks like Jair Brown kind of get pushed into him from behind, and as the pile
that was all. If you watch it, it was all Jair Brown. He was trying to make the foot tackle and just like leg whipped him.
Yeah, I didn't rewatch it too much, but I know it was Brown. Not like he meant to do it, obviously, but when they did show that they go to replay, I mean, the players immediately knew. They were calling for the medical staff to come out, and I'm like, great, what's going to happen? They go to commercial, they come back, and Tony and Jim are just like, it was a graphic injury. We're not only going to show it once, and unfortunately, Fred Warner's leg, his ankle, was at like, a 70-degree angle or something like that. So apparently, we didn't catch the Kyle Shanahan press conference, but no surprise here, unfortunately, dislocated and broke his right ankle, will need surgery, and will miss the rest of the season. Obviously, his presence was missed today because immediately after he went out, the 49ers just started giving up blown coverage after blown coverage. I saw a stat that I just read out to the guys here where they gave up 12 receptions, I want to say. 12 receptions to 14 receivers that were wide open, which went for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. They lost by 11, so 14 points. I mean, it was just embarrassing. It really was embarrassing. We're not going to do a play-by-play on this game because it was just too much BS going on. I don't know if I'm completely out on this team just because it seems like if there was a year for like parity in the NFL, it's this year. It seems like even the top-tier teams are getting beaten by average to below average teams. And they are going to get healthy. I said in the group chat, getting healthy looks completely different than it looked 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Now getting healthy is you're just hoping to get Purdy, Kittle, and Jennings, or an Ayuk, and Pearsall back with Ayuk to follow. Bosa's not coming back. Warner's not coming back. Those are your two best players, either overall or at least on defense. So it's really tough to overcome. They were in a spot to still win this game somehow, even without Warner. It was an 8-point game for most of the second half, and things just got out of control. Mac Jones sacked 6 times for 51 yards. I mean, threw 2 interceptions, one of which was just a horrific decision. He had played well for the most part on 4th down. Why don't I ask you this? On that 4th down, it was 4th and a foot in like 8 inches, right? Niners go up to line up to go for it with down 8. There's, I want to say, 6 minutes left roughly in the 4th quarter. And instead of trying to draw them off sides, Pooney jumps. Or I should say, instead of drawing them off sides, Pooney jumps. The 49ers are then backed up 5 yards, so it's now 4th and 5. It's an 8-point game. Do you guys agree with the decision to go for it still, now that's 4th and 5? Or would you have liked to see them just try and kick the field goal and make it,
no, they had to. They had to at that point. They had already burned 2 timeouts.
I think they burned the second one.
No. They still had 2 timeouts on our very last offensive drive.
Well, they weren't getting the ball back.
One of them.
All right. Well, still, if you don't have 3 timeouts, then you have to go for it because, again, it's.
I don't want to use like revisionist history. Like obviously, right? We're gonna say, oh, they should have took the points because we knew they didn't get the first down.
Right.
But I mean, it was close to being a 2-possession game at that point anyway. So I mean, it's damned if you do and damned if you don't. Now at 4th and 1, I was like, yes, you go for it. When it went back to 4th and 6, or it was technically 4th and 5 still, which is weird. I was like, all right, we should probably settle for the field goal there. We should settle for the field goal, try to get a stop, and then try to march down the field. But you needed a touchdown no matter what. So
yeah, agreed. And yeah, obviously, the worst play of the game was so backbreaking. 3rd and 14, Bryce Huff and I forget who else, Travis Gibson, I think, have Baker Mayfield wrapped up in the backfield for a loss, for a sack. Baker Mayfield somehow escapes, runs forward, and you have D. Winters, Renardo Green, I want to say Bethune, are all there, and they allow him to pick up the first down and stretch the ball forward. 2 plays later, is it Tez Johnson that got wide open in the end zone for the touchdown? I mean, it was a 1-point game, I want to say, at that point, right? It was like 27 or 20-19 or something like that. And it was just embarrassing. It was just absolutely embarrassing. The fact that you not only couldn't get him down for the sack, but you then allowed him to run for like 15 yards and get the first down. Renardo Green tried to shoulder check him at the first down marker, gets just kind of nudged off, and Baker gets the first down still. Backbreaking play. Absolutely backbreaking play. Pivotal moment of the game.
And that play was kind of like a microcosm of how the game was after Fred Warner went down. We forgot how to tackle. No one covered any. Well, the 2 plays you're talking about was the microcosm of the game. No one, so that receiver goes in motion. We are showing 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. No one points and says, "Hey, go with that guy." No one. No communication in the entire secondary. And the guy just free man. They snap the ball and he throws his hands up immediately.
He even changed his route. He even changed his route because there was nobody there.
There was just no one there. Oh, I'm just going to walk this in here. Hey, you can't miss me on this one. He could have handed the ball to him, and he was going to score. And that's like this. This is what my issue is. And I was talking about. Well, let me stop. Matt, your thoughts on that? I'm sorry.
I don't know. This just entire, I don't know. It just everything you said it, man. Fred Warner goes out, can't tackle, energy down, giving up massive. Again, Baker making signature plays when you have him wrapped up. It just seemed like there was no heart. I know you wanted to talk about it at some point. Do they bring certain players back early or not? What are they doing on the defensive line? There's been too much injuries to top talent. Now they're exposed for how thin they are. I just, it's a bummer, man, because they do compete. They do try hard. They kept it fairly close for a lot of the game until the end. It was 8, but the holes are there. And when you lose your top flight talent, those holes just get more and more exposed. And they become wider and wider until it's essentially a landmine out there. And you're not going to win any games like that, or not win many. Against the higher up teams. I guess, the Tampa Bay's now the 1 seed, sole possession of first place in the NFC. So, and by the way, it's not like they had a murderer's row of their skill position players out there either. Igbukah played like a quarter and a half. Like, he was done in the first half. He had 2 catches for 24 yards. Godwin didn't play. No Mike Evans. No Bucky Irving.
No Irving. Yeah.
Right. Like, they were on their like 3rd and 4th guards apiece. You know what I mean? Like, they're walking.
And we still couldn't generate pressure.
And could not generate pressure and couldn't stop a nosebleed. Like, we did pretty well against the run, but gave up a lot of passing yards. And by the way, those 3rd down long conversions reared their ugly head again from years past, where the 49ers would get teams into 3rd and long and then just give up 3rd downs. It's just, man, it's stressful. It's stressful to see. You want to see growth. And it's a double-edged sword of like, well, now you got to see where the young guys are going to step up or if they're not. And it's just, there's going to be a lot of growing pains and it's going to look ugly. But yeah, it's how they look going forward is going to be a big thing. And I don't know, I'm kind of starting to shift to maybe, instead of going out and getting a defensive line or edge at the trading deadline, maybe becoming sellers at the deadline, to be honest.
Who are you going to sell? Anyone worth selling is already on IR. Like, there's no one to give away at this point.
I mean, listen, you get what you can, right? Like, you can try. I mean, somebody out there.
You going to trade Mac Jones?
No, I'm not going to. No, but I'll trade Christian McCaffrey. Like, my heart better to get it. I mean, his value is just going to get lower and lower. At least while you still have plausible deniability that a lot of his issues are because of the offensive line. Because you look at his receiving and you look at the fact that he leads the league in scrimmage yards, right? Like, you can finesse somebody into thinking that he's still like the best of the best. I'm starting to like kind of. Mike, you kind of said it. Maybe he's like losing a step. I'm kind of starting to get to that point. It's still hard to tell because the blocking is just fucking horrendous. And then the other thing is just get rid of Juwan Jennings. Like, for whatever you can get. Whatever you can get.
Well, apparently he's playing with 5 broken ribs is what.
Yeah, that's a fucking lie.
I don't want to hear that shit. Yeah. If you guys have ever had a rib injury, forget it being broken before. I have pulled something in my side. And you're not playing with 5 broken ribs.
He's not throwing that block that ended up being OPI if he's got 5 broken ribs. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Right. By the way, was that not a backwards pass? I didn't get a straight down the line angle, but I feel like you can't get OPI on a backwards pass. It was very close.
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. Oh. And by the way, people are saying I'm giving up. I'm not giving up. This team can make the playoffs even without those guys. Like, the NFC is fucking trash right now. That's not giving up. That's setting up for a big run in 26, because you're not winning the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you know this. The defense is not going to be good enough. Even if you get offensive weapons back, this team is not going to win the Super Bowl.
They would have to be a team. Sorry, real quick, Mike.
No, you're good.
That puts up 30 plus each game. I mean,
right.
Reminiscent of the last year's Lions, they had similar injuries on defense. Star player, Hutchinson goes out, linebackers go out, safeties go out. They had a laundry list of players on defense that were out, and they did get to the divisional round, but that was because they had a historic offense getting them there. We put up 19 points.
What else did they have? But here's the problem. What else did they have that the 49ers don't have? What else did they have?
A great offensive line. Yeah. Fantastic offensive line.
With Christian McCaffrey. So even if Purdy and Kittle and them come back, how's that going to fucking change? It's not. Mac Jones got sacked 6 times today. When Purdy comes back, that's going to change, or are you going to put him at risk for continuing to aggravate that toe?
Right.
Again, when you go out and you don't invest in your offensive line, and by the way, Forster needs to get fired. Like, he's toast. I've never seen a player regress as much as Dominic Mooney regressed from last year to this year. All that Kansas teaching went like right out of his ear, and Chris Forster went in. That's the only difference. And he's playing like dog water. He got walked back into the end zone like he was a puppy.
Bro, he got walked into Mac Jones' lap like 4 different times in
multiple
this game.
Times.
Like, I've never seen anything like that before.
There was a play where Vita Vea split him and Brendel and ate their lunch right in front of him.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Double team, and he was like, "Nah, fuck it, I'm going right between you guys."
And our record. So, okay, the Niners are still in first place in the NFC West due to tiebreakers and all that stuff, right? But I want to let you guys know just how much we're masking this. in the entire division of the NFC West, the Niners have scored the fewest points, including the Cardinals, and have allowed the most points given up. So just let that sink in.
Worst differential.
Right. So it's like we're fortunate to be where we are, and that's what makes it hard to become sellers, right? It's because we're still in first despite all of this, and you got some offensive reinforcements coming back later on, right? But I mean, the issue with the Niners injuries is that we lose like the guys, not a receiver. Right. It's wide receiver one. And then, wide receiver one hasn't been playing all year. So we have another wide receiver one. He's gone. And then we got tight end one who's also out, right? And then you got, like, it's just, we're losing the guys of the guys. Like, we didn't just lose a linebacker. We lost an all-pro. You know what I'm saying? We didn't just lose a defensive end. We lost an all-pro. Like, we're losing the biggest positions out there on the field. And I don't understand, like, There was a decision that was made going into this game that they started Jair Brown, who hadn't started any games all year.
Yep.
And Pinnock, I don't remember seeing him on the field at all, right? Pinnock was the only guy that was communicating in the secondary, not named Fred Warner. And so you put Brown out there with Siegel and Mustafa, and the communication was just gone. Does anybody out there know why Pinnock didn't get any play during this game?
It seemed like he was the odd man out when it came to Mustafa returning.
But how do you go from starter to getting leapfrogged by Brown? What does Mustafa have to do with Brown versus Pinnock? That's what I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't understand how that happened. We were talking in the Patreon, and Miss Debbie said maybe it has something to do with a trade. Like maybe he's pending a trade or something like that. Like maybe the Niners have agreed in principle on something and they didn't want that guy to get hurt. We've seen the team do that before, right? Like they did that with Trey Lance. Like I hate to go back there, but that's the one that everyone's going to remember. Out of nowhere, it was like, okay, Trey Lance isn't going to be the starter. And then like the next week he was traded. Like we understood why they did it then, right? Like you're not going to risk the asset being traded, right? Is Pinnock going somewhere?
Man,
and
if Pinnock starts, does Fred Warner even get hurt?
Right.
Because
He's in the right
spot.
Jair Brown just flying in there trying to, you know what I mean? So
it's go ahead.
No, please.
I was gonna say it's this huge trickle down effect, and I just don't understand the decision making when it comes to certain things with this team. And so when we're assessing like how this game went, who was out there on that defense and in that secondary other than Diamador Lenore that you are comfortable with, right? Like Siegel, I don't want to see him in coverage. I've been saying it all year, and everyone's like, oh, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. Bullshit. I don't want to see Jair Brown as a safety. I didn't want to see that. And you don't want Mustafa being out there in his first game back as the guy either. So, like, what were we expecting to happen in the secondary? Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. It was so bad.
While we're talking about Jennings, they asked him about his sideline arguments with Shanahan. We haven't got into this, but in the second quarter, Shanahan and Jennings apparently went at it twice. And the first time they had the receivers coach Leonard Hakerson kind of pulling Jennings back. Shanahan was still going at it. Going into halftime, into the locker room, Trent Williams is over there talking to Juwan, going into the locker room. And they asked him about the kind of arguments they got into. And he said that they'll have to ask Kyle. I'm sorry. Am I the only one that's like, is over this? Like, what could be the issue that you're going to have a blow up on the sideline in at this point was like a 3-point game or 4-point game or something like that.
And it was during the 2-minute drill.
That's
the thing. We were on the offense. We were on offense, and he's arguing with Kyle during the 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
You can't justify that at all. I don't care who you are or what position you play. Like, you're on the sidelines. Shut the fuck up and be on the sidelines. Right? Wait till they call your number. And then you get the second interception, which was, I'm going to say it. It was Mac Jones' only bad throw all game. I thought that he was doing a good job discerning where to go with the ball, and all of his passes were where they needed to be. Even some of the drops, I didn't put them on him. The first interception, I didn't put on him. But that second interception, forcing it to Jennings, who had 3 or 4 guys around him.
Yes.
It made no sense when you had Tungus, and I believe even Christian McCaffrey was open underneath. They would have easily gotten that first down. I didn't understand how they decided to just force the ball to him. Like, Kendrick Bourne was having another career game, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to throw to Kendrick Bourne anymore. Let's just go to Jennings. Look at that. Oh, there you go. It's not – is that that's not McCaffrey.
That's Tunja's up top.
That's Tunja's
MVS right here. I think McCaffrey's at the bottom of the screen behind the 27 logo. And
they throw
the ball goes here.
Yeah, like it's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And fuck you, Jennings. You don't get to tell us. You don't get to tell people to ask Kyle. You speak after Kyle. The coach comes out and he speaks first. So they're not going to get a chance to ask that question to him unless they did it earlier. And I'll find out because I'm gonna run through the pressers after this. So.
Yeah. Here's the thing. How are you going to have a superstar attitude when you got role player play? And this is what I talked about when he held them up for more money. It's just like he's never going to have a season like that again. You know, he thinks he's a star, and yet in the last 2 weeks, Kendrick Bourne has more 100-yard games than Juwan Jennings has in his entire fucking career.
Yeah.
Like, you're a bum, dude. You're a bum. And don't come out here saying, I got 5 broken ribs. Nobody fucking believes you. And say, oh, ask Kyle. Ask Kyle what? While you're sitting there pouting? You know, you went to the Debo and BA learning tree to try to hold people up for money, and then you're not doing anything. Imagine turning down 3 years, $16 million per, and then absolutely just shitting the bed every opportunity you get. I'm done with it, man. Whatever they can get for him. A fucking ham sandwich. I don't even care, man.
He had 1 catch for 7 yards. By the way, he said he had 5 broken ribs, a high and a low ankle sprain. That's what he's playing through.
It's like, shut
and you're on the sideline saying I need more targets. Like, stop it. Like, come on. Piss on me and tell me it's raining. Can we get to that super chat really quick? I just don't want it to get too far lost. Let's get the Sean super chat. He says we can sell my jokes, Mike. We'll get rich. Let me tell you, the jokes wouldn't even make it to like the dad jokes books, but I appreciate them though. I appreciate them. Yeah. So thank you, Sean, very much. A joke within of itself. So it's awesome.
Where was that David last Yang. Comment asking me the question?
I'll pull it up right now.
They were asking you about the injuries. Like that's like because you're the medical guy on the staff here. So let's go.
Oh, I mean, honestly, some of like the Warner injury is just how do you prevent that? Like that's just one of those crazy ones. Like the Bosa injury, it's like how do you prevent that? The only thing that you can really blame the medical trainers for is like the personnel and like the strength and conditioning are the soft tissue injuries, right? Like the hamstrings and the calves and the little stuff like that. But these contact injuries, you can't really blame them. There's just really bad luck. The only thing that I could see is maybe process, you know, like they don't do as counterintuitive as it sounds, right? They don't do enough tackling because you're kind of just, you know, how's the technique look? Are you going like Jair Brown just like willy-nilly diving in there and you know, leg whipping somebody? Like, can that be prevented? You know, I don't know. It's just historic bad luck.
And if you guys thought for a second that Juwan Jennings had trade value, going to the podium saying you're playing with all these injuries, your trade value is now gone.
None.
So he just fucked himself again. Like this guy, like he can't get out of his own way. He can't get out of his own way. And if he is playing with broken ribs, one, that has never been reported. So now the team could also get in trouble with the league for that. So like you're just hurting us over. We're compounding the mistakes and the errors by the team. And by the way, I got to say this before I forget. Trent Williams is too much of a veteran to fucking start face masking somebody on an interception. You have to know that guy is coming in the block because it was a turnover, and you can't get emotional. How is Trent Williams a savvy veteran, and he's the most emotional player on the offensive line?
The second things go south, he's out there punching players, throwing players down.
Yeah.
Late hits. It's like, come on, dude.
And then ended up punking himself because the DB ended up on top of him.
Right. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? You got this guy by 200 pounds and you're still getting bitched by him. Like, enough already. Like, this team, this is good for the team. This kind of loss is good. It's going to make them go back to the drawing board and focus on tackling fundamentals. Because if we could make tackles in this game, we were in a position 90% of the time to make plays on the ball carriers. Like, the missed sacks, all that stuff, like we were there. Like we bottled up the running back at or behind the line of scrimmage so many times, and then they end up eking out for positive gains over and over and over. I'm not mad at where this team is at all, right? Like not for nothing. And Matt, you said it going into this game or before the game even started on our preview show, right? Like guys, it's just too much to overcome. You said it. Like, at some point, we've been playing above the expectation line. Like, it's going to have to come back down at some point. And that's what this game was. So now they get to pull it back in. They get to reel it in and really, really focus on what's important here and get back to some fundamentals. It couldn't have happened at a better time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This game, that's what I think is most frustrating about it, was they were in position to either tie or even take the lead. Going back to the second half. And by the way, shout out to Kendrick Bourne. He had back-to-back career games. He finished with 5 for 142 today. Just insane. But going back, they were almost able to lap the Bucks at halftime because they did defer, right? So going into half, you get the ball with 42 seconds left. They go 6 plays, 47 yards to get a field goal to make it a 4-point game. And then to start the half, you go 14 plays, 65 yards to get another field goal to make it a 1-point game, 19-20. If they're even able to get one touchdown instead of field goals there, they take the lead. Like, it's just, it was that close of a difference. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do it. But even, like we've said, most of the fourth quarter was a 8-point game up until there was 3:48 left in the fourth quarter when the Bucks finally hit that field goal to make it an 11-point game. The game was there for the taking. Mac Jones couldn't stop getting sacked. Not that that's a Mac Jones problem. It's an offensive line problem. Just real quick, and then I'll toss it to Matt for some final thoughts. But the Bucks score here, Mac 27 for 39, 347. The dude had 200 yards at halftime. 2 interceptions. The first interception I put on Bourne more so. Like I said, sacked 6 times for 51 yards. McCaffrey, 17 carries for 54 yards. We got our first rushing touchdown. We didn't talk about that. Kendrick Bourne, 5 for 142 with a long of 56, had 9 targets. Tonjes, 6 for 58 with a long of 16. McCaffrey, another 7 for 57 through the air. Demarcus Robinson, 2 for 44. MVS, 2 for 22. And then Juszczyk, 1 for 9. Robinson, 3 for 8. And way at the bottom is Juwan Jennings, 1 for 7.
And Tonjes didn't have any targets in the first half. He did all that in the second half, which I thought was great second half adjustments. Like, let's catch him off guard.
For some reason, they went with Farrell.
Kyle was trying.
They went with Farrell in the first half, and I really didn't understand it. He was getting the bulk share of the snaps, of the carries, or of the targets, I should say, and he wasn't making anything out of him. He couldn't block. He can't catch. Tonjes, I think, has proven himself to be a solid starting tight end in George Kittle's absence. Maybe solid isn't the word I want to use. He's a good replacement in Kittle's absence, as good as we could have.
No, he's solid. He's a tight end. He's solid.
Yeah.
A tight end getting 4 catches for 50, 60 yards and a touchdown is great. Like, they would kill for that for any tight end, any team. So he does that on a consistent basis. So he's playing great for a backup tight end. He's playing great for a starting tight end.
He is. I could be wrong, but I think off the top of my head, he leads the team in touchdowns. I could be wrong. Let me see. He's tied with McCaffrey. Well, in receiving touchdowns, because McCaffrey got 1 on the ground today. So, Matt, I guess, what were your thoughts on the offense? They kind of sputtered out once they did get into the end zone, but it seemed like between the 20s, they were doing all right for the most part. Dare I say?
I mean, they were doing better in the first half, and I think that's a lot of it because Todd Bowles went against type to try to mess with Kyle Shanahan a little bit and didn't blitz anybody in the first half. I think he blitzed 1 time in the entire first half. And then in the second half, you saw him bring the blitz, and that's when things got worse and worse and worse. Like you said, Mac Jones had 200 yards by halftime, but then the interception again was Kendrick Bourne not running the right route. He's supposed to keep it going to the sideline, and he kind of didn't. He kind of sat and that caused the interception. And like you saw in the second half, that interception that Mac Jones threw was on Mac Jones. That was a horrific throw.
That one was
when they started blitzing, it kind of forced Mac Jones to pick up his timing. He took a little more sacks. He, was off on some of his throws, and it really showed. They were much less efficient in that second half when Bulls started blitzing more.
Yeah. And
3 points in the second half.
I also want to point out really quick, Mac Jones' stats are going to be very misleading because he lost 51 yards of passing yards because of those sacks also. So, he played better than what the numbers are even going to show. He was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And also not factored into that is the intentional grounding that he had on a play that they barely even announced it. You know what I'm saying? Like when he threw the ball away to the left side. Yeah.
That was strange. Again, another game, the running game couldn't really get going. Although I think what this was, dare I say, their best running effort of the season, which is sad to say because they finished the day with 67 rushing yards. McCaffrey, 54, like I said, 54 yards on 17 carries, which is roughly 3.17 yards per attempt. On the flip side, it seemed like they couldn't stop Rachaad White, although he only had 65 yards on 17 carries, which is 3.8 yards per attempt. Nothing too crazier than what the 49ers averaged. Red zone issues strike again, and I dare I say were the difference between a win and a loss today, because they got, 4 field goals? 4 field goals, and 2 of those had the chance to be touchdowns, but penalties killed the drives. You get moved back, sacks, and Eddie Pinheiro, shout out to him. Great pickup by the 49ers. Still, knock on wood, hasn't missed a kick.
Even when things going right, they go wrong. He got his fucking toe stepped on.
By a 49er.
By his own dude.
Yeah.
But then he had his best kickoff of the season. Like, it was the deepest I've seen him kick. So I was like, oh, no, he's hurt. And he booms that shit to, like, the 2 yards before the end zone line. So I was like, all right, like, he's okay.
Thankfully, it was his non-kicking foot that got stepped on. By the way, can Sky Moore stop fielding kickoffs inside the 5-yard line? Like, I don't know who you think you are. You think you're Devin Hester or what? He fielded a kickoff at the 2, and then like 2 kicks later, he fielded one at, I want to say at the 1. What are you doing? Like, do you really think you're about to house a 99-yard return? It's infuriating. Let that shit bounce in the end zone.
Last game, he let one go, and it bounced, and it went like towards the end zone and stayed there. So like he's scarred from it. It's like, dude, like, no. And they talked to him right away after that. So I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see it again because they didn't punt anymore. But like they talked to him right, like you saw them on the side, like, dude, what are you doing? That's twice now you did it. I saw the guy hold up too. Like, that's twice you did it now. Like, you got to stop fielding him right there. Like, let it go. So it is what it is.
We got some super chats get to really quickly.
Well, before we get to the super chats, I want to make sure Matt gets all of his thoughts out.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that.
Yeah, like this offense, people think it's going to pick up when Purdy and Kittle and all them come back, and it probably will a little bit. But at the end of the day, this offensive line is too crap. Listen, if you had to ask Kyle again if he still thinks Brendel and McKivitz are good, he'd probably still defend them. But they have to know, man. They have to know this is not good. They have to know, and we'll see. If it comes at the end of the season and Chris Forster still has a job, then their head is in the sand and they just don't give a shit.
I think Kyle's going to defend his starting lineman, period. Like he's always done it. We knew McGlinchey wasn't good.
I think offseason's going to talk.
Yeah, that's when you're going to get to really do the evaluation, because he's not going to trash the guys that he has no choice but to go into battle with. So we're not going to get the truth from how Kyle feels now. Yeah.
100%. I wouldn't be surprised if Trent Williams retires. Like, he seems like he's already 1 foot out the door anyway with how he's playing and how he's regressed. I think that, again, when I say move people, maybe trade CMC. If you can get anything for Juwan Jennings, go ahead. Try to trade Jair Brown. To try to get rid of some of these pieces, even for 5th, 6th, 7th round, even a pick swap, right? Jair Brown and a 6th for a 5th round pick. Anything that will get you a little bit more cap space and draft capital, because they're going to have to revamp that entire offensive line. They have no choice. It's not just Nick Bosa injured and not just Fred Warner injured that's caused all these problems. This offensive line has caused Brock Purdy to get injured. It's caused Mac Jones to be injured multiple times. It's caused, again, running backs not able to get anywhere. Like what are we doing here? It's just, it is what it is, man. This team is capped out at like the wild card level, and you don't necessarily need some of these guys going forward if you're going to be capped out at that level.
So with everything that you're saying, It makes me go back to the comment you made, like you saying get ready for 2026, but it's like,
yeah,
it feels like this is the year to kind of go in, because if what you're saying is true about the offensive line and trading McCaffrey and all that, like we're not going to be good next year either then. So it feels like while
not necessarily. Not necessarily. Are we good now? Is the offense good now? You have so many injuries. Like, think about next year when you get BA coming back after a full season or a full off season removed from his injury. You have, Ricky Pearsall back and hopefully healthy. You have Nick Bosa back from the ACL. You have Fred Warner back from the ankle. You have a year of extra experience for some of these young guys. And then you go out and through free agency, again, I said cap and draft capital, through free agency and or the draft, you revamp this offensive line. You have a much better shot, health provided, of course, to do more next year than you will this year. Because if Purdy comes back, how many times is he going to get sacked? Is he still going to take punishment because the O-line is so bad? Like, they're capped because of that. People, how could I want to trade CMC? Well, he's a 29-year-old running back who's averaging 3.1 yards a carry because the offensive line and or him is not very good. One of the two, or a little combination of both. But the offensive line is so bad, I don't care if we trade Christian McCaffrey because nobody's going to be able to run behind that line. Who's going to run behind that line? We can't do it. Nobody has been able to do it so far.
What if we trade for a
by
good
the way,
center?
Well, you need more than a center. You need more than a center.
To find some positivity.
Really, can you tell me anybody on the offensive line that's any good? Trent has regressed. Connor Colby is not good. Jake Brendel is not good. Dominic Pooney has regressed to being borderline unplayable. He might be one of the worst offensive linemen. And McKivitz isn't
going anywhere.
And McKivitz sucks.
Just extended him.
Right. So you need to. I mean, they have to get a replacement for Trent, and then you better get a center. But CMC is averaging 3.1, 3.2 yards a carry. So who cares if you trade him and then let Brian Robinson and Isaac Grendo finish it out? Is it going to be that much of a fall off? No. Maybe in the passing game.
If this offense could turn things around, Matt, and let's just say they can average 27 points a game, do you think that's worth?
They're still capped at like the divisional.
Yeah.
Especially after the loss of Fred Warner. The loss of Fred Warner is basically my entire reason for thinking that they should go from buying like a defensive end to being sellers, because you're not overcoming that. And listen, I want to see Nick Martin play just as much as the next guy and be active. He's going to be active next week, but this is not how you want him to be active, right? And if anybody thinks that D Winters is going to be able to kind of, take the Fred Warner spot, and then Tatum Bethune is going to be able to come in and be, anything like that, you're just not paying attention. It's not going to happen. So like, where's the strength on the defense now? Like Diamador Lenore, great. Like maybe the corners, like Renardo Green seemed to have a decent day.
Who gets a hands to the face every game now? That's like his thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, where you tell me where the strength of the defense is? Red zone, maybe. But beyond that, they give up a lot of yards. They don't get off the field. You're missing key components at every level of the defense. Even if you score 27 a game, you let Baker Mayfield with all backups carve you for 30 today.
Yeah, I feel you.
Mac Jones had 347 yards passing. They lost by 11 because they can't run the ball. That when Purdy and them come back, that's not going to change. Christian McCaffrey's back there. He's the health vampire. Apparently, everybody else is getting injured, so Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy.
I'm knocking on wood.
He's still 3.2 yards a carry. The only thing that he is being like separating himself is from in the passing game, because he's being utilized out of the backfield. But I don't believe for a second that even if it was Brian Robinson or whatever, you get similar, if not as much, you get 70% of the production in the passing game that Christian McCaffrey gave you. But if you can't run the ball, you become very one-dimensional. So it's the same. By the way, it's the same problem that Kansas City is having that nobody wants to talk about. They don't have playmakers on the outside, and their leading rusher is Patrick Mahomes. That's a fucking problem, and that's why they're 2-4. or whatever it is, 2-3. They're going to be 2-4 after the night. I think the Lions are going to boat race them. But it's kind of the same thing. When you become one-dimensional, when you only have one tool in your tool belt and the other team knows that, you're not going to be very good.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate afternoon. We wouldn't be as, I think, down on the team if it was just a loss. But Fred Warner being out for the rest of the year just has this exaggerating factor on top of that. Because, like I said to start the show, you're already without Nick Bosa for the entire year. And that was a lot to ask your defense to overcome. And maybe you could go and get a pass rusher. It's not like pass rushers are just being floated out there, for a 4th or a 5th round pick, ones that are at least good. But now you are without Bosa and Fred Warner. And maybe you would have liked to have seen Nick Martin active the last couple of weeks and get him involved a little bit, because now you're going to throw him out there and say, hey, we basically expect a lot out of you. Good luck. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Bethune and Winters are going to have to take over the mantle.
When asked, they did say that, the reason Martin hasn't been active is because he's not making an impact on special teams, which is what they want their rookies to do. Now they have no choice. They're going to have to play him on the defense. So we'll see. We'll see.
And Bethune flashed at times. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Dom King says, Matt, give me something positive. Mac Jones throws a very nice ball. I think in terms of like his ball is probably better than Brock Purdy's, but literally that's the only thing that's better. Like Brock Purdy's a better decision maker, even though he's a little bit of a gunslinger. Brock Purdy easily more mobile. Brock Purdy, the big plays seem to happen more with Brock Purdy. Like think about that plays that Pearsall got in like week 1. He was chewing Seattle up. So Jake Tongas easily tight end 2. That's a positive. Mykal Williams continues to make little strides. He got his first sack today. That's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Because of the attrition, all of the rookies are now going to get playing time, which will benefit the Niners down the road. You get live action, valuable experience. So that way, when you get these veterans back, these guys have playing experience and they can make more of an impact. Those are all positive things. And again, 4-2 with a weak schedule. Atlanta's beatable, even with all the injuries. They can beat Atlanta.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What I hope is that they don't rush Brock Purdy back, that if he starts next week, he's truly ready to start.
It's on turf, by the way, right? It's on turf in Atlanta.
It's a home game.
Oh, I thought it was in Atlanta.
We're home.
No, it's home. It's at the 49ers.
I think that was after that. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
No, and that was kind of my thought. What Matt was just saying, right? Like rushing these guys back, right? Like it's cool to see Mustafa in there. But like, do we need him to the extent that they played him today, right? Like, I still don't know why Pinnock didn't get any burn at all. But like, they got to stop rushing guys back. I told you guys that they should not have let Brock go out there and play. What game was it that we lost? The Jaguars.
Yep.
There was no.
Same.
The reports came out that said 3 to 5 weeks. He came back in the 3rd week. Why? For fucking what? It was a meaningless game, and it was in the AFC. There was no need to do that. If Brock Purdy is your guy, and the playbook is very different when Brock Purdy is in there. There's more downfield shots. There's more intricate throwing and play designs and all that stuff. If he's your guy, why the fuck are you rushing him back against an AFC opponent? It never made any sense to me. And so when you start bringing guys back, you can't do it at the quarterback position, but you can do it with all the other ones. Or you can work them in a little bit, 20% snaps.
And the craziest part about it is when they bring Brock Purdy back, it's not like Mac Jones was playing like Jake Browning. You know what I mean? Like he was doing okay. He was doing all right. Again, another day today where he does all right. Yes, the interception was pretty backbreaking, the second one. But all in all, he didn't play terribly. You want him to keep afloat and maybe get you again. If you say Brock Purdy's injured week 1 and the 49ers after 5 weeks will be 4-2 or 6 weeks, 4-2, you kind of take that, and then instead of rushing Brock Purdy back against Jacksonville, maybe now he comes back against the Falcons having 5 weeks off without re-aggravating the toe. And then it's not an issue because now if he made, it sounds like he made it a little bit worse against the Jaguars. And so now only 2 weeks later, you're going to do the same fucking thing you did before? Yeah. I hope not. You know.
By the way, Michael says it was Brock's decision. I assume he needs to play. That's where the coaching staff and the medical staff has to come in and say, you are going to hurt yourself. We
of
have
course
to hold
the players
you. We just paid
play.
you $200 million. We need to protect you. So let's hold you back. And I get people are saying Mac was in worse shape. That's a game you just punt on then. You put Adrian Martinez in there. You hope for the best. Like Mike said, it's an AFC game. You just beat Seattle and Arizona at that time going into week 4 versus the Jags. It's not that meaningful of a game. Yes, you don't want to just lose it. But if both of your top 2 quarterbacks are hurt and you just paid one $200 million, what's the decision-making and the logic to say, well, we'll go with him because he's like 10% more healthy than Mac Jones? It's malpractice, in my opinion.
Huxley, we're going to get to the super chats. I promise you. We want to make sure that Matt gets his thoughts out before he has.
I got like 5 minutes, and then
do you have a final thoughts on this one, Matt? And then you can.
Listen, this is tough, and again, it's one of those things where I don't want to be super negative, but at some point or another, there comes a tipping point where you're just like, this is kind of turning into a lost season. Again, Atlanta's very winnable, but if you tell me in the next 4 or 5 weeks that they go 3-2 or 2-3 or whatever, and they're like barely floating above 500, I would believe it. I wouldn't be surprised. What's the end goal? If the end goal is to make the Super Bowl, you have to understand that it's not this year. And I think the team is really going to understand that. And so you have to assess what is the better play. Is the better play to, again, try, maybe hold on to guys and sacrifice some future capital? Or is it to get to a point where you're like, we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to be or close to making the playoffs. Do we get extra draft capital? Because now all of our picks are slotted later than you would like if you're rebuilding. So you need as much ammunition as you can. And if we can jettison some cap in the meantime to be able to pay a free agent or two that can come in and make an impact right away, then maybe you do that. It's not to say that you punt on the season so much that you go, 1-10 the rest of the way. That's not what I'm saying. They're again, with basis of their schedule, with the people that are coming back, they're going to be still a 9 to 10 win team. And that's good enough to make, the wild card, but you're not making the Super Bowl. It's just not happening. When you got pass rushes like they got in Green Bay, when you got teams that can just race you off of the field like Detroit, how do you expect to make the playoffs or to make the Super Bowl in the NFC? And then if you do that, who do you go up against in the AFC? Like, is this team going to beat Buffalo? No. You know what I mean? Like, at some point you have to be realistic. So again, if you play the next 3 games, let's just say they play the next 3 games and they go 1-2. And so now they're sitting at 5-4. And it's, the Monday before the trading deadline. Maybe you start thinking about moving some of these guys. If you're still rushing the ball for 3 yards a carry, CMC's value is not going to go up after this year. Maybe you sell a year early and try to recoup as much draft capital as you can, because if he's only rushing for 3.1 yards a carry, I feel like Brian Robinson and Isaac Guerrero can do that. And then you've actually recouped not only some cap space, but you've also recouped a little bit of draft capital. You have to think about those things. And I'm not saying that they do it, but it shouldn't be, the door on being a seller just cracked open a little bit with the injury to Fred Warner. And specifically because of the injury to Fred Warner. You can maybe, if Fred Warner got injured and Nick Bosa was still here, you might be able to hold that. You know what I mean? But losing your top 2 defensive stars, pass rusher and your middle linebacker, both of whom are amongst the, the top 5, Nick Bosa, and not even really an arguable the best at his position. Those guys, you're not coming back from that, especially when your first 5 draft picks this year were all defensive rookies. That's too heavy a lift. So you have to think about the future. If 25 is not the year, then do you go in on 26 while you still have another 2 to 3 years out of George Kittle, while you still have, Brock Purdy, where before his cap number explodes, while you still have Diamador Lenore under that second contract? You got some guys locked down. There's nobody really that you need to sign. You can let Jennings bum ass walk if you can't trade him. Like Kendrick Bourne came in here and stole his lunch. Just, even with the mistakes that Kendrick Bourne makes. These last 2 weeks have been very eye-opening. It should be very eye-opening to Juwan Jennings, but it sounds like he's a little bit in denial. But yeah, I just think that you have to look at maybe see what's going on next year. Get Jordan Watkins once he's healed from the calf in there. Get Jordan James out there who's been a healthy scratch. Like, what's the worst that could happen? He gets game experience. Oh, well. I don't even care if you put him back there to return kicks. He's not going to be worse than Sky Moore, who is completely horrific. Just do something with these guys. Get the young guys experience. Think about 26, because 25, you're very capped. You have a very hard ceiling, and you're not getting past it.
All right. Well, Matt, appreciate your thoughts.
Yep.
Enjoy the Lions Chiefs game. I guess we're rooting for the Chiefs, but
I gotta make dinner for everybody. That's why I gotta go. So
kiss those babies for us, man.
Yeah.
That beautiful 100%. You got over there.
100%. And at the end of the day, guys, let's keep it all in perspective too, right? It's all football. Like, yeah, it sucks, but now I get to go hang out with my kids and my wife, so that's always fun. So keep it in perspective, guys. Everything's fine. We'll all be good.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, brother. Take care. Have a good night.
So
let's get to some super chats once you're
all right.
done. No. Go ahead. Catch up.
No. We can do the super chats, and I'll get back to it. I'm not going to forget the point, so it's okay.
Let me change this. All right. Super chats. Sorry, guys. Matt had a hard out, so we wanted to make sure he got all of his thoughts in. So we were, putting the super chats on pause, but we got them here now. Sean, Jair called.
Sorry. That's his second one. Sorry, he gets a bomb.
Sir.
Sorry.
Jair now called Mr. Hanky Brown. We didn't need nose tackle speed, so they sat Jennings. Mac had a good game. Zero help from our O-line. Ish Jennings. Agreed.
Yeah, so, this sums it up, right? Like, Jair Brown shouldn't have been out there as a starter. And you guys know how I ride for my Jersey guys. I'm gonna say it all the time. So I did not want to see him out there as a starter. There was no need for it. And so there has to be a reason Pinnock wasn't out there. Pinnock is familiar with the Giants. I'm wondering if they have a potential trade in line with the Giants, and maybe they needed him back or something. I don't know. Maybe they wanted him back, but his veteran presence was missed. The 49ers posted this video from last week's game, and it's him basically talking and communicating with everybody in the secondary, right? It was Siegel. It was what's the other safety's name? But he was talking like, hey, like, stay in the confines of the offense. Don't overdo anything. Stay in the right position. We're gonna be okay, right? That's what was missing tonight in that secondary. Even after Fred Warner went out, like that's what was missing out there. And so I'm wondering why he wasn't out there. Now, in that same video, they showed him like not making tackles. He was shying away from contact and all. And I was like, bro, like, that shit was crazy. Like, I don't understand why he's out there on the field. But then you see what he's saying and how he's coaching guys up on the sidelines and all that. And there is a value in that, because I don't know what's happening if it's not him out there. You know what I'm saying? So
we saw what's happening. Nothing. No communication, blown coverages, wide open receivers behind the safeties. Just embarrassing lapses in coverage that, the question has to be asked, was it Robert Saleh through the first 6 weeks, or was it Fred Warner? Because the second Fred Warner goes out, Robert Saleh's defense turns to shit, which I get. It's a big loss, but why does that affect your secondary so much? To the point where they're not even in position.
And even with Fred Warner out there, his defense was shit in the second half of that Rams game also. Like, let's not forget, like, that the Rams put up more points in the second half than they did the first. That's the first time all year long that the Niners let that happen. Yeah. And then it turned around and happens again here. So, it's like, damned if you do and damned if you don't. I don't know. Like, I credit Robert Saleh with the second half adjustments. Now we're 0-2 with the second half adjustments. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, the second half has benefited the opposing team now 2 weeks in a row. So I don't know. And I'm over the Juwan Jennings things. I don't want to shit on him too much. But let's keep going with the super chats, and then we'll get to some more thoughts.
Nigel, did you guys really have us beating Tampa Bay? I did. I thought this was a winnable game. I knew it was going to be tough. Now, to be fair, this was with Fred Warner. Now, they end up losing by 11, but that's kind of not the correct score, right? Like it was an 8-point game
Right.
most of the fourth quarter. And
Yeah.
I think if a couple plays go differently, they either lose by a lot less or end up winning. I thought this was a winnable game, and I feel like there's evidence for that based on how the whole game played out. It was within reach.
Yeah, it's rough. Like, so all year long, I've been relying on my gut, and my gut has been 100%, even with the losses. Going into this game, I did not have a feeling. Like, I was like, I have no idea which way to call it. So I was like, all right, well, fine. The Niners will win. Like, let's just hope for the best here. But I didn't have a good feeling about this game. I didn't have a bad feeling either. I just didn't have a feeling at all. And then, like, it's like, hey, Mike, trust your gut more often, right? Like, so here we go. I mean, I'm going to go out and say it now. We're going to beat the Falcons next week. So I'm not worried about this team. And we are still in a really, really good position, everybody. I want to be clear. I understand that Matt was saying, all right, it might be time to sell. He said, let's see a couple of weeks, and then maybe you want to sell everything, right? But one of the things that Matt kept talking about was, like, we're not a Super Bowl team. We might not be, on paper right now, a Super Bowl winning team. However, I'm going to say this with all the confidence in the world. When December, January, and February get here, there is not a single team in the NFC that I'm worried about. The Eagles are beatable. The Lions, as much as people want to hype them up, they are beatable. The Buccaneers are beatable. Like, I'm not saying this just because, like, oh, I'm a Niners fan and I got to stick with it. No, I'll tell you, I believe Matt said we're not going to beat the Bills. That's true. I completely agree with him. But outside of the Bills, which are the AFC team, can you tell me another team that's going to be in the postseason that you're worried about? The Broncos? No. The Chiefs? No. Right? Like the Chargers? No. I'm not worried about any of these teams that are going to be in the Niners' way once the postseason gets here. I'm not worried about the Eagles, guys. I'm sorry, but the Eagles are fucking trash, right? Everyone's benefiting from a weak-ass NFC.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm not worried about any of these teams right now. I'm not worried about the fucking Jags. I'm not worried about any of these teams right now. So if we can get to the dance, there is absolutely a chance that the Niners could make it to the Super Bowl. And we're sitting here naming – well, but not only can anything happen, we're naming all these teams. If the Niners have to play every good team in the postseason, no, they got to play somebody else.
2 or 3.
Right. They got to play other teams. They could get knocked off by somebody else. Whatever team you're worried about in the NFC, there's no guarantee that they see the Niners if we make it to the postseason and if we make it to the NFC Championship game. I'm not worried about any of those teams. Guys, the fucking Washington Commanders were in the NFC Championship game last year. I'm not worried about any of those teams, right? Let's lose now. Let's reel it in. Let's regroup. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we don't have, and go out there and kick some ass when the time comes. I'm not ready to sell yet, guys. Like, we're 4-2, and I just sat here and told you guys, lowest amount of points scored, most points given up, and we're still atop the NFC West. Those teams are looking up at us, regardless of how you feel about tonight's loss. And this was a winnable game. This was a winnable game without Fred Warner in the second half. We were in position to make plays and make a win. If Mac Jones throws that ball to Tungus instead of forcing it to Jawan Jennings, who knows what the outcome of this game is? And then we're sitting around like,
if they sack Baker Mayfield instead of letting him slip out like that greased up deaf guy from Family Guy,
right,
and go for 15 yards and a first down, 2 plays later is a touchdown. Like, that's a 7-point swing right there. 7-point swing.
Yes. That's 7 points in a possession. Like, It's not just 7 points. It's 7 points in a possession. Like, no, this is not the time to fucking fold, ladies and gentlemen. All you guys out there watching, right? This isn't the time to fold. It's cool. Be upset. Be upset. And yes, Jesus is Lord. I see your comment, right? It's totally different without Fred Warner. It is. It's different without Fred Warner when you have to adjust on the fly. You guys think that the 49ers defense is just going to stop and lay down because Fred Warner's not out there? Bethune flashed. He showed some good plays. Winters flashed. He showed some good plays. This season is far from over. It's far from, and I'm not saying that they go out there and just replace Fred Warner. You don't replace a guy like Fred Warner. You don't replace a guy like Nick Bosa, right? Like, it doesn't happen. The pass rush has been non-existent, but you know what the Niners do really well? You know what they do really well? They rush 4 and send everybody else in the backfield. They send everybody else. I'm not talking about blitzing. They send everybody else back in coverage, and it makes it really difficult for the opposing quarterbacks. That's what they do. That's what they do. So the game plan without Fred Warner is going to look different than a game plan with Fred Warner. We got to see what it looks like. We don't know yet. We don't know. This was adjusting on the fly. We have no idea how it's going to look. That's all I'm saying. All right, we can go with the Super Chats. I know there's more of them.
Mark Lamar, not mad at Mac. We have 0 weapons. The toss play got to go. Don't call play action there with no O-line, Kyle.
That was like the first play-action play all game, and I didn't understand what the fuck he was doing there. I just didn't get it. And it's not like the run game was like something to write home about at that point. Like I just didn't understand why he decided to do it right there in that moment. And by the way, like you just gave Tony Romo more ammo to hate on. It's like that is the last thing I want to see and hear. Like Tony Romo did, I don't know why he did that. Fuck you, Tony. Like go somewhere.
I posted on X during the game. Can you think of a single commentator team that doesn't shit on the Niners, or at the very least glaze up their opponents every time? The only one I can think of, Mike, and it's going to be kind of a shock. I don't know if you can guess who I'm about to say.
Mark Sanchez.
No, of course not. No. Think prime time.
I don't know, because they all shit on him. Who?
Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman is the most complimentary towards 49ers players. A fucking Cowboys quarterback is the most. He called Deebo Samuel his favorite player in the league a couple years ago. Like, he is the most complimentary towards 49ers players. I'm tired of listening to these guys just glaze up the other team no matter what it is. And as far as Mark, I agree with you. That was a gutsy performance from Mac Jones. The first interception isn't on him. The second interception makes me wonder, was he told to throw this ball to Llewellyn no matter what? Because I feel like he's been pretty good at processing. Now, to be fair, the Bucs brought in extra pressure on that fourth down play. Maybe he just panicked and forced it to Llewellyn, thought he could get a better ball in there. Todd Bowles also tricked him. I don't think he was expecting Dean to drop back into coverage. He still played well. I don't think, end of the day, I don't think Mac is the reason the 49ers lost this game. I'll say that.
Right.
Mark again with the super chat. Love Mac, but this was a Purdy game with that line. Mike, how many sacks has Purdy hid? How many potential sacks, I should say, have not happened because Brock Purdy's back there with his mobility?
Yeah, Purdy's a lot more elusive, and he's quicker to get out of the pocket. Mac Jones is one of those guys that wants to step up into the pocket and try to make a play with his arm instead of scrambling. I mean, the one play where he decided to scramble to the right of the offensive line, even that looked like it was happening in slow motion. I mean, during the game, I was like, oh, look at him. He looks like freaking Peyton Manning running and scrambling the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't make any sense there. And, you know, and that is something that Purdy does significantly better than Mac Jones. He will move. He'll scramble around, you know what I mean, and try to find somebody down the field. And so, you know, like, but I don't want to take anything away from Purdy, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking against him. Like, those are the benefits of Brock Purdy here. The question is, like, is he throwing into harm's way more, right? Like that last interception by Mac Jones felt like a Purdy type of throw, like trusting his arm and just going with the, you know what I'm saying? Like going with but there were so many other options on that same play. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see guys reading the field. I know Kyle's going to be like, this is the play. This is what we got to do. No, but you're out there. You're not supposed to be on autopilot. Like you're in there for a reason. So we just got to see that they do things the right way.
All right. Next super chat, Tommy Huxley. Pooney is terrible. Brendel needs to be benched. I agree with you, but the problem is, for who? Who else do they have? Like, you got to remember, these are the best that they have on the team. That's why they're going out there week after week. Yeah,
the backup in Connor Colby is already in.
Yeah.
You guys are forgetting that, right? Like, Barch is gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's already done. And by the way, it looks like they just confirmed that this is a season-ending injury for Fred Warner. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did, yeah. He's going to need surgery, and yeah.
He broke his ankle.
Yeah. I mean, it was sideways. It was completely sideways.
Yeah, so it's a wrap for Fred Warner this year, guys.
Sid Brown, $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Sid. We absolutely should not over-trade for a player unless we're completely replacing Bosa. Offensive line needs more talent and a better coach. Offensive line picks regress with Coach Forster. He enables Kyle's bad habit. I somewhat agree with you. Not over-trade, yes, which is why I think Trey Hendrickson is off the table, who got hurt, by the way, in the Bengals-Packers game. Left with a back injury, didn't return. But there are guys like Kwity Paye in Indianapolis. Now, why would Indianapolis sell? They're 5-1 or whatever. I get it. But there are guys that are kind of lesser-known guys who are productive that I think could be had. You know, maybe the Texans are willing to send somebody over. Maybe the Jets, who are 0-6, I want to say, they lost again this morning, are willing to send Jermaine Johnson or Michael Clemens or one of these players over to the 49ers because they're done. The Dolphins, who lost again, maybe are willing to part ways with Bradley Chubb or Jalen Phillips. And as far as the offensive line, I don't know how Forrester has a job still. I don't.
I kind of do. The Niners don't invest early picks or free agents in the offensive line. And when they do, they get the best out of them. I mean, you guys go back and think about Mack. You think about Weston Richburg, Trent when he first got here, right? Like, think about, and I know you guys are going to use it against me because of how bad he's playing this year, but Pooney having to step in, Connor Colby's first game, he gets these guys prepared in a way that's like, okay, shit, maybe we have something here. We said that about Banks. He has turned these guys that were like everyone's least favorite into like, oh, shit, they're worth something. What if we gave him some top end of the draft talent? We just don't give it to him.
My only pushback is we have quotes from him saying, I told Kyle I don't need that. Like, I don't need top tier picks. Spend that on skill players and give me what I got. Now, maybe he's just BSing, right? But to me, that screams he's way overconfident in his coaching abilities to turn, shit into a steak. It's just not happening.
And part of me feels like that's him saying, like, they're never going to give me those guys, so I got to say what's best to get some heat off of Kyle and them, right? Like, because if let's say he is pounding the table, guys, I need better linemen, they don't give it to him. They're like, well, how do you feel about the Niners never giving you the guy? He's not supposed to say, well, it pisses me off, because then you're fired, right? Like, you can't speak out against the regime that's putting you in the position in the first place. He's got to get more out of these guys, though. He absolutely has to. It's not going to happen with his current staff, though. It's not going to happen, right? I saw a comment hours ago. I believe it was at 8:18 p.m., so 5:18 p.m. for you. I forget the person's name that said it, but he said something along the lines of, we haven't been able to run to the right since Mike McGlinchey has been gone, and we couldn't wait to get rid of him. And this is the thing, right? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I believe it was at 8:18 p.m. I could be wrong.
Let me see if I could find it.
So it's a thing, though, right? Like, we hated Mike McGlinchey in pass protection, but the run game to that side, like, it allowed the Niners to run left and right, and it kept teams guessing, right? And now we also don't have George Kittle out there to block for him. There was a comment definitely at 8:18 that I saw that I wanted to comment on, and it might not have been that one. Let me see if I can help you find it also.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one, but I don't see anything at 5:18 my time.
I'm at 8:20, 8:19. Oh, no. It was Gilliam. Okay, I got the wrong comment here. It was Gillum was the person's name. 8:18. It was at 8:18.
The fuck?
He says people act like the season's over. That's the one that I wanted to comment on. That was the one. It wasn't about the offensive line. But yeah, no, we're not acting like the season is over. Now, Matt may have sounded like he's saying the season's over, but I already touched on it. Like, there's nobody in the NFC that we're scared of and all that. So that was one of the ones I wanted to come back to. But somebody in here did say we haven't been able to run to the right since we got rid of Mike McGlinchey. And so it's kind of like, do we need more production from the offensive line? Absolutely. I am not one of those people that thinks that Christian McCaffrey has lost a step. They're just not blocking. It's Christian McCaffrey. It's Robinson. Nobody is running well behind this offensive line. No one is. Because the offensive line isn't getting any kind of push. They're not opening holes or anything. Like, as soon as they snap the ball and they decide to run between the tackles, you're running into a wall. Your guys aren't getting any kind of like push. They're not opening holes for you. You are just running into the backs of 49ers jerseys. And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But you can't teach strength. So I don't know what they expect. I don't know what they expect him to do. You bring in another offensive line coach. What is he going to do to make those guys better? Can someone tell me? He's not going to make them stronger. He can't make them faster. So what is Forrester supposed to do? And that's the only reason I haven't said that Forrester is the problem. That's the only reason I haven't said that it's him. I think it's the personnel. I think it's the players. And we are sitting here with the nobodies of the 49ers offensive line. We got a rookie. Where was Connor Colby drafted? 6th round?
7th.
7th round, okay. We got a first rounder in Trent who was a trade acquisition who's 48 years old.
20 years ago.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You got McKivitz, who nobody here loved, but they extended him for some reason. You got Pooney, who seems to have regressed. Is that Chris Forrester's fault that Pooney's not as good as what he was last year or what we thought he was last year? Is it Jake Brindle that you guys are saying should be an all-pro and that he's worse because of his coaching? Like, where is the fault of the coordinator is what my question is. That's what I'm asking. I don't get what we're looking for. Or that's the run game. What about pass protection? None of these guys are good against the pass. Trent Williams actually didn't have a bad game as far as pass protection goes. He didn't have a bad game as far as pass protection, but that's it. Mm-hmm. No one's rushing from Trent Williams' side. They're sending all the pressure to the other side of the line. So what do you want Forrester to do in this situation? The offensive line is bad, yes. But is it the fault of the coach? These guys aren't strong enough. They aren't big enough. They aren't fast enough. They aren't strong enough. And they're all just getting thrown all over the place. I don't know that that's a coaching issue, guys. I don't.
All right, we got a couple more super chats here. Nigel, bright side, at least we're not Cowboys fans today. I did see they lost right at the buzzer to, I guess it's not buzzer in the NFL, but right at the end, the final seconds to the Panthers in a field goal. Okay. Sean with a $20 super chat. Why was there no, I assume he means Pinnock today.
Yeah.
Kyle holding out. Kyle was tired. Not in the mood. Crazy talk. Mr. Hanky Brown stank in the place. Needed to be flushed. Stank the place needed to be flushed.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. And, you know, we've talked about the absence of Pinnock and what was going on. Maybe there's a pending trade. I don't know. But it was, Sean, you're absolutely right. It was just a really, really weird just turn of events. I don't know. It's going to lead to something. The Niners are working on something. You guys best believe it. There's no way that they're just going to lay down and give up this first place in the NFC West. Let's go. Come on.
Hear me out. Pinnock, possibly there's rumors of him being traded. You said to New York. They have some familiarities. He played in New York for the first, 4 or 5 years of his career. Who could possibly be in New York that the 49ers want?
Thibodeau.
What if? I don't know. I'm totally speculating here. What if they are... The Giants need secondary help. Now, the 49ers do too, but the Giants need secondary help. The 49ers feel comfortable in their secondary, their safety position to be exact, with Malik Mustafa returning. They feel comfortable enough to roll with Brown, Mustafa, Siegel. Pinnock is the odd man out with some sort of veteran value. The familiarity is there to the Giants. The Giants just beat the Eagles. Now they're thinking, okay, maybe the season is not over. We can actually make a run at the division or at least for a wild card spot, but we need secondary help. They get Pinnock back. Maybe they feel with Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, who's on his 4th year, is the odd man out, and they could afford to be without him. Maybe.
Because they have Brian Burns too.
Burns.
Yeah, like they've got a good defensive line over there in New York. They've got it. They've got players to spare. This is the time for them to trade somebody. Absolutely.
Maybe Pinnock, Thibodeau are in trade talks or, surrounding trade talks. And we saw a confirmed report last night, I want to say, that the 49ers are calling teams. Now, it was from Diana Rossini, so take it with a grain of salt. But that the 49ers are calling teams, including the Bengals, to check on the availability of these pass rushers to get traded. Just saying, maybe. Last super chat here that we didn't get to from our guy Aldo. Yo, I'm not mad.
Oh, wait. Sorry, got it.
I'm not mad. I'm a Niner, win, lose, or tie till I'm dead and cold. But Mayfield and Romo ain't shit. I hope we can do a rematch at the NFC Championship. Bill Cowher, I don't know if you saw the halftime show, Mike. I know you do Patreon, but Bill Cowher said, I expect these two teams to meet again in January. By the way, this is Baker Mayfield's first win versus the 49ers. He was 1-5, I want to say, or 1-4 in the previous 5 attempts.
Yeah, this is his 5th time playing against the Niners, and this is his first win.
Yeah.
Get it now so that way we can get it out the way later on. I'm talking about the Niners going on one of those, who was it? The Green Bay Packers year that they won the Super Bowl. The last time they won the Super Bowl. Was it the Packers? It was the Giants. They lost to every team they beat on their way to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It was the Giants. Like, let's go ahead and get that shit out the way right now. Let's go ahead and do it. Yep, we're going to learn from our mistakes. You guys are not going to catch us like this again. I'm absolutely okay with it. And still first in our division?
Well, that's the
division
thing, right?
still goes through us?
Yes. Matt got asked what is one last super chat from our guy Briscoe.
Sorry, I was looking for it. There it is.
Let's not forget JJ makes game-winning plays. He had a good third down catch today. If he really is playing with that many injuries, maybe sit him out. I don't know. Because I don't think he's going to get any healthier playing with all of these injuries. Anyway, we were talking about, Matt was asked to say something positive, right? Something positive, in my opinion, is the 49ers lost today. They dropped to, check my notes, first in the division. They dropped to second in the NFC, possibly third if the Lions beat the Chiefs tonight, which nobody spoiled the game for me. I have it recorded. I know some people believe that only Niners games can be spoiled for Niners fans. I like to go watch it afterwards, so no to spoil. I saw on X that they already got bailed out. The Chiefs, that is, with some lucky refereeing. But they're third seed. At worst, they're the third seed in the NFC, and they're number one in the West. They beat every single team already in the West. That's 300% more wins than they got last year. So there are things to be positive about going forward. I think if we, Mike, something that would be fun to do would be going back to our season preview show where we all predicted win or losses, and after 6 games compared it to where we thought we'd be at versus where we actually are. I want to say all of us had us roughly around 4-2 with losses to probably the Rams and the Bucks. Now we beat the Rams, ended up losing to the Jags, but they're 4-2. And just like you said, Mike, if you would have told us that Purdy's going to only play 2 of the first 6 games and you're 4-2 at the top of the division with 3 divisional wins, I feel like we'd all take that.
Yeah, exactly. And so the losses come throughout the season. It doesn't matter where they happen. A loss is a loss, right? And we just got to reel it back in, man. And it is cool. This is an overreaction show. We're in our feelings. We're all emotional right now, this recap show. But the Niners are going to be okay. We're still okay. And maybe we don't make the postseason this year. Who knows? But we're getting valuable reps for these rookies on both sides of the ball, for the inexperienced players here. This is a beneficial season already. These guys are learning to play through adversity. They are learning to play through losses, right? And they're getting extended reps on the fly. It's only going to benefit the Niners later on. I don't think the season's over. I don't think we should file Kyle. I saw that last comment you just put up there. I don't agree with any of that. I don't. I think Kyle Shanahan should still be in the talks for Coach of the Year. I really do. I don't know another team putting – they kept trying to make it sound like that the Buccaneers were going through as many injuries as the Niners were throughout this thing. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Oh, man, here's another one. Every time somebody on the Buccaneers, hobbled off the field, they were like, oh, and there's another one. Oh, and there's another one. That motherfucker came right back out.
How is Baker doing it with all these pieces missing?
Yeah, it's like, dude, kiss my ass. What are you talking about? Have you seen the Niners? Baker's still out there.
Right.
The starting quarterback.
Yeah. The MVP frontrunner is still out there.
Yeah.
Talk to me when he's out for 4 games and you guys are 3-1 in those 4 games.
Bingo. Exactly. And that's my point.
Just to say real quick, too, Rob, Baker didn't beat the 49ers. He beat the 49 IRs. I get it, right? But to be fair, the Bucs were without, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I know, Mike, this goes to what you were just saying, but they did go into the game without a lot of pieces as well on offense. They still had Baker Mayfield, which is more than the 49ers had. And then Ibuka gets hurt in the second quarter. You just got to tip your hat to the Bucs, honestly. I mean, they capitalized as soon as, and I hate to say this, I hate to be that guy. As soon as Mac's first pass was intercepted and they capitalized on it, I already knew. We're behind the 8 ball. Rarely do the 49ers win when they get off, unless they were 7-7. If they were able to get 7-7, which they weren't, it was 7-3. Then I was feeling pretty bad. Obviously, I'm thinking, okay, we got a chance. There's still a chance. Things can happen. Maybe we intercept a pass for the first time in 12, 13 games. Maybe we block a kick. They've had some kicks blocked. But no, they just continue to lose the turnover battle. And you're not going to win those games with all the injuries and losing the turnover battle.
Yeah, there was a point at the end of the third quarter where the Niners had the ball for 10 minutes more than the Buccaneers. We had 155 plays to their 35. Like, we were winning everything you wanted to win except the game and the score itself.
We were sputtering out in the red zone. To start the third quarter, we had a 7.5-minute drive that ended in 3. Like, you just can't have that. You got to get in the red zone or in the end zone. And it was penalties that were killing us, that were pulling us back.
And that's what happens when you have backups out there, guys. Like we have played over the expectation line. That's it. No, so here's the beautiful part about it all. When these starters start coming back, right? And let's just say like someone needs a breather. The guys that now need breathers, we're replacing them with guys who've had experience all year long. Right. This team is in a good position. We really, really are. And I just don't want Niner fans to just freaking give up on these kind of things. You know, I don't want Niner fans to start tapping out and saying, like, guys, the season's over. Like, we should just start looking forward to 2026 and all that. That's not the case. I think 2026 we're going to have more holes than what we have right now. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk will be healthy. Yeah, Fred Warner will eventually be back, and Nick Bosa will eventually be back in 2026, right? But like Matt said, and this isn't going away, we're going to have a whole new offensive line. Right? Like, if you're going to start 2026 with somebody on this offensive line, who do you want back?
I mean, the only one that for sure is coming back is Colton.
Right, because he's got that contract, right? But, like, if you were to ask other 49er fans, like, okay, well, tell me which one of these guys you want coming back right now, you're going to hear crickets. You're going to hear cricket. I thought I had a cricket sound effect.
Maybe, Trent. Maybe.
I don't even know if they want that, dude. I think I deleted the cricket sound effect. That's crazy.
While you look,
there it is.
Okay.
No one. There's no one that you guys are pounding the table for the Niners to bring back on the offensive line. And I think that sets us back even more than skill positions. So
we got Leslie with a member for 14 months. Thank you very much, Leslie. I'm going to say this, and you can mark my words. We redeem ourselves, do well in the playoffs, no Super Bowl this year, and we see some John Lynch magic soon. Thank you very much, Leslie. By the way, I feel like when we entered this season, most fans were saying, you know what? This is kind of a gap year. Like, let's just see what the rookie and the sophomore class has. And wherever this year goes, it goes. And I think getting off to a 4-1 start got to some 49ers fans' heads, and we're thinking, like, the Super Bowl or bust year. That's not true. I don't think that was true. If the expectation in August was 17-0, or should I say, 20-0? And a Super Bowl ring, like, it's not going to happen, guys, especially with this team. And that was before any of these injuries. Now all of the injuries, I think you just got to roll with it, see what the young players could do, hope you get some guys back. Like I said to start the show, getting healthy now looks completely different than getting healthy looked 2 to 3 weeks ago. But you just got to get healthy as much as you can and try and turn that into some positive momentum. The good thing is they won these close games in the division to start the year. So you've already beaten Seattle, you've already beaten Arizona, and you've already beaten the Rams. 2 of the toughest of those 3, you beat them on the road already. So when you play them again, it's at Levi's. So
speaking of Levi's, for everybody out there watching, if you guys are going to a home game, I got one request for you guys. Put a bushel of sage in your pocket. Light that shit up in the parking lot. They're not going to let you light it inside the stadium, but bring it inside the stadium also and blow on that shit. Do some Mr. Miyagi like you're in the woods trying to light something up. We need to sage and get this injury bug out, all the bad juju that some people think that the Levi Stadium is cursed and all that stuff and whatever it is. Bring the sage in there. If you're a praying person, if you're a person of faith, I don't care what your religious preference is, do your prayers, do your spiritual refinement, whatever it is that you need to do. We need some good juju, and it starts in the parking lot. Bring that shit into the stadium. Let's go ahead. Let's do our part. Let's do our part because they're not going to do anything for the 49ers this year. Like what we see is what we got right now. Okay, I'm talking about as far as the coaching staff. I'm talking about the strength and conditioning staff. They're not making any changes during the season. Okay, so let's do our part out there. Put the sage in your pocket and bring it in because we need it. We absolutely need it. And guys, you shouldn't be mad at Joe Boyd. Now, I will say this. Joe Boyd put a comment here at 5:57 for you, Zach. He says they won't win any more games. Season is over. Joe Boyd, I will bet you an order of wings delivered to the other person's house. You send me your address. I'll send you mine. I'll take some wings. The Niners are going to win next week. You're saying we won't win any more games. The Niners are going to be at 5-2 next week, and your whole tune is going to change. Your whole tune is going to change. I'm telling you. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the schedule. The Niners have a very, very favorable schedule, and we're doing it with backups, and we're going to continue to do it with backups. So just relax. Pearsall comes back next week. George Kittle comes back next week, and 2 weeks from then, here comes Brandon Ayuk back in the fray. Like, the Niners are in really, really good position, offensively speaking. Now, how we overcome the loss of Fred Warner, I don't know. That I don't know, but we'll see. That remains to be seen. John Lynch has got his hands full. He's gonna have to work. But this team is not in position to punt on the season. Imagine punting on the season, first place in your division.
Right. It just doesn't make sense.
John Lynch should be fired if he punts on the season right now. And I know, like, you guys don't think that we're gonna do anything, and I get it. But if he, the freaking GM, punts, that means that you don't believe in the depth that you've drafted. You don't believe in the free agents that you've acquired. You don't believe in anybody in this locker room. And so if that's the case, then, John, your job should be on the line if that's the case.
I disagree. I think Winters is solid, actually. The comment says Bethune and Winters are not good. I think Winters is taking a big step up this year alongside Fred Warner. Now, a lot more is on his plate with Warner out. I think it's a solid question to ask. Can he handle it? But I don't think he's not good. Bethune is probably below average, right? But he was your third linebacker. You weren't expecting him to go out there and be right. Patrick Willis.
So. He beat out Nick Martin because of special teams, not because of play on the field, because of special teams. And yeah, I saw you, Jesus is Lord. You want to make a bet right now that the Niners make the playoffs? What's up? I will bet you that. I tell you what, I'll make a jersey bet with you right now. I will make a jersey bet. If I'm right, you get me a jersey. And it's going to be one for one of my kids. It's not even going to be for me. You get my daughter a jersey. If you're right, whatever jersey you want, I'll ship it to you. The Niners are making the playoffs this year. Cut it up. Let's go. The Niners are making the postseason this year. Where do you guys get this? The team is giving up. Where the fuck did you guys even see it? Where do you see that? Like, that's what I don't understand. It's one thing to say, oh, we lost and we didn't look good. I'm with you on that. Where do y'all see that the Niners have given up? Is it the rookies continuing to make plays? Is it Mykel Williams getting his first sack of the game? Is it Alfred Collins going out there and getting his first sack fumble or his first fumble last week? Like, the rookies have been making plays every single week. They're stepping up more and more. They're getting more playing time, and they're getting better and better. The Niners are going to make the postseason because the NFC fucking sucks. It's not even about the Niners. It's about the rest of the NFC. Like, where are you guys getting it from that they've given up? Where do you see the quit?
Right. And if they win next week versus the Falcons, they're halfway to 10 wins already, 7 games into the season. They only need to go 500 the final 10 games of the week. Of the year. Final 10 games. Like, what are they talking about, bro? The Niners are going to get the 10 wins by accident. They're going to be saying, hey, guys, maybe we can get a top 10 pick, and they're going to accidentally win 10 games. Right, like, what are y'all talking about? Like, stop it, man. Hey, where's that Panthers game at? When we play the Panthers, where is that at? Is that in Carolina? That's in Carolina, right? I could tell you right now, actually.
I'm 90% sure that's in Carolina. They are undefeated at home.
We play. Yep. No. That's home.
Oh shit. Oh, we're beating the Panthers too.
That's a Monday night game.
I was gonna give the Panthers that win because they're undefeated at home. Can't even give them that one.
Now we do go to Cleveland the next week on a short.
Fuck week. Cleveland too. They don't have a quarterback. Fuck Cleveland too. I said it. Yeah, I said it. Y'all want see now? Y'all about to get me turned up. Y'all gonna get me hyped. See, I like when everybody's down on the Niners. I came in to be down on the Niners, but because so many people are down on the Niners, now y'all giving me no choice but to be the contrarian. Y'all got the Niners fucked up. Y'all got them fucked up, bro. The Niners aren't laying down because you guys are in your feelings. The Niners aren't laying down because Trent Williams gets emotional when one play doesn't go his way. They don't give a shit about that. Kyle don't care about Jawan Jennings being in his feelings. Well, maybe he does because I can't understand why he went to him on that third down play. But whatever. It's over. That kind of shit is over. Kyle's going to learn from his mistakes. Kyle was in his bag. He was calling a hell of a game until he wasn't. It was late in the third quarter when I was like, Kyle, what are you doing? Everything else was good. Mac Jones was dealing out there. Brock Purdy's coming back. This was the game that all you guys that said Brock Purdy is better than Mac Jones, which is cool. I fuck with y'all. That's cool. This was a game for y'all to say, see, I told you guys that Mac Jones wasn't the answer. That's what you guys are supposed to be saying right now. That's what you guys are supposed to be saying right now. Oh, well, we trusted in Mac Jones, and look at what he did when we needed him the most. He threw an interception at the wrong time. You guys are supposed to be in here tearing us up in the chat right now. That's what your role was here. Not the season's over. It's the Mac Jones era is over. That's what you guys are supposed to be saying. Now it's time for the defense to adjust without their best defensive players. Both of them, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, gone. How do they answer? You know how they answer? By having the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. Let him figure it out. He was brought in for a reason. And I'll give you a hint. It had nothing to do with the personnel. Because Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, they were here already. And we sucked. So they didn't bring him in for the personnel. They brought him in for his mind. They brought him in for the scheme, for the strategy. So what do you guys believe in? Do you believe in the coaching or do you believe in the personnel? Because the personnel couldn't get it done when we had Nick Sorensen. The personnel couldn't get it done when we had Steve Wilks. So what is it that you're buying into? You hated Steve Wilks. You hated Nick Sorensen. We got Robert Saleh back. So which one are you putting your faith in? Is it the players or is it the coaching? Pick a side. You can't keep going back and forth, guys. I'm going to start holding your feet to the fire now. Now it's on you guys to make a decision. Where do you stand? You can't have it both ways. Now, the personnel is important. I won't pretend like they don't matter and they're irrelevant. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying. But if you believe that the personnel couldn't get it done without the right coaching, you can't sit here and say the coaching can't get it done without the right personnel. You can't have it both ways. You got to pick a fucking side, guys. That's all I'm saying to you. And I think the Niners are going to find ways to build, to develop, and to improve on the defensive side of the ball. I can't speak for that offensive line, though, because it's the same guy on that offensive line. It's the same offensive line coach. While I have been giving Chris Forrester all the passes in the fucking world, and I'm about ready to hang it up. I'm almost there with you guys. I'm about ready to hang it up on Chris Forrester. But that offensive line personnel has been trash. It has been the who's of replacement level players. I'll give you guys that. I'm right there with you when it comes to that. But the defensive side of the ball, I'm not ready to give it up. And if that defense can improve just a little bit, if they could just make tackles, right? I don't need them to make better play calls. I need them to execute better now. The play calls were the right play calls. Nick Bosa, listen to me. Baker Mayfield was sacked on that 3rd and 15. He was sacked twice on one play. Yes, he was sacked twice on one play. If they could just bring him down, cool. Great play call by Robert Saleh. Terrible execution by the players. Give him an opportunity to make it right. And then you're going to tell me that the Niners get reinforcements on the offensive side of the ball? You tell me that we don't get better offensive linemen, but we get George Kittle back, who was an extension of the offensive line? You're telling me now that we've developed a real tight end one in Jake Tungus, and we can use George Kittle as an extension of the offensive line now all of a sudden? We're going to get Brandon Ayuk back. We're going to get Ricky Pearsall back. You're telling me that we can improve in run blocking because George Kittle is back and we can still have a productive tight end and we have better wide receiver weapons in 2 or 3 weeks? And you don't think that we're going to get better? Y'all are smoking something that's not in my hookah. I need to know what you guys are smoking. Send me some of that shit. Send it over here. I don't know what you guys are watching that you think that here we are 5-6 weeks into the season and this shit is over. You guys are absolutely insane to me. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, Mike, if you would have told us a couple of weeks ago, right, let's just say after we beat the Seahawks, you tell us, hey, that week 6 matchup that you have, by the way, with the Bucs, you're going to go into that game with Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, Jake Tonjes, Demarcus Robinson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Luke Farrell. Like, those are going to be your top offensive players. Does anybody think that the 49ers win that game? Like, and that's without Fred Warner's injury. Even with Fred Warner, we're probably thinking this is a lot to ask of this team. Now, exactly. To be 1,000% fair, the Bucs were dealing with injuries on their side as well, but they had their fucking quarterback, who is the front runner for MVP. And that was the difference today. On blown coverages, on mistakes made by the 49ers defense, Baker made them pay. On an interception, Baker made them pay. Like, on a 3rd and 14 scramble where Bryce Huff and, I'm forgetting the other, Travis Gibson had him sacked twice. He was able to slide through that, scramble for 15 yards and get the first down. Baker made them pay. 2 plays later, Tez Johnson screaming down the field for the ball, and he gets hit. Or he gets the ball, I should say, for a touchdown. That was the difference today. So I'm not too negative on the season. Today sucked, obviously, as a Niners fan. But they do get reinforcements back. This is the first loss without Brock Purdy out of 4 games. Like, holy shit. Like, and they had a chance to win it. Like, if you would have told us Brock Purdy's out, and I hate to play that game, but I'm seeing like I'm playing it a lot here. If you would have told us Brock Purdy's out 4 games and you're going to win 3 of them, and the only one you pretty much, I don't want to say barely lost because it ended up being 11 points, but you had a chance to win it for like 49 minutes, I want to say. I don't know how long it was a 1-score game. You probably take that. You're probably okay with that answer. Obviously you don't want to lose anything, but it's a young team. It's a very, very young team. There are 8 new starters that weren't starters last year on defense. And now there's going to be another one with Fred Warner gone for the year. So just trying to put things in perspective, guys. And like I said, they are first in the NFC, at worst third in the first in the NFC West, at worst third in the NFC, depending on how tonight goes. We'll take that. All of us would take that, especially after how last year went. Especially after watching them get their ass handed to them week after week after week. Defense fall apart. Give up long drives to lose right at the end that ended up in the end zone for 7 time after time. I mean, we watched fucking Geno Smith run on this team at home. Get in the end zone, celebrate after he was 1-7 versus the Niners, right? As the Seahawks quarterback. Yeah. That's not happening this year. So put it in perspective. The 49ers are in a much better position. Like Mike said, you have Robert Saleh calling this defense. You need to let him cook. You need to let him see what he can scheme up. It's hard to adjust on the fly when you lose literally the best defensive player in football just like that. Now it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Now he'll have a whole week to game plan, knowing he's not going to have Bosa, he's not going to have Warner. The offense is going to get healthy. We're going to get George Kittle back. Hopefully Pearsall can come back. But on the flip side, we signed Kendrick Bourne, 4 weeks ago? The dude's fucking balling out. The dude is balling out.
Wide receiver 1.
Wide receiver. He's got over 300 yards in the last 2 games. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Right. So there are bright spots here to be had.
And that's with 1 target in the second half.
Yes. That he took for 40 yards or something like that. Like, it's just, it's insane that people can be sold out on this team already. It's insane.
I've already put money on the Niners to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not making this up. You guys can see it right there. Niners, Super Bowl, it's there, baby. Like, this isn't me just talking, guys. I literally put my money where my mouth is. Like, I'm not just saying this shit to sell you guys a pipe dream or something like that, right? Like, I literally put money on the Niners to make it to the Super Bowl. Like, that's how I feel. Those are my convictions. I'm not afraid of any team in the NFC. Not a single one of them are going to be able to deal with us when we get some reinforcements back on the offensive side of the ball. That's it. Like, I'm not just saying this to make you guys feel bad. I care less. I love you. I love all you guys. But I couldn't care less about how you guys feel about this team going forward. And this game right here is not going to be the indicator on our success or our failures on the season to come. It's not.
Maybe the fans would feel better if they lost 29-30 to a last-second field goal. And obviously the big caveat is Warner not getting hurt. I get that. That's a huge fucking loss. Huge loss. It's exponentially worse because we lost Bosa a couple of weeks ago. I get it. 1,000%. But injuries happen, and you just got to adjust. Like, you just really do have to adjust. This offense has not been bad, even with all the injuries they've had. You're going to get healthy on offense. You're going to get Ayuk back in a few weeks. Kittle's back next week. Hopefully Pearsall's back next week. It's going to look better. It's going to look better. And maybe the offense can shoulder more in the load. Maybe you're not asking the defense to hold teams to 21 points every week anymore, or else it's a loss. Maybe the offense can start to put up, Mike, like you said, 27. And you know, maybe people are saying, well, we're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. That's fine. That was never my expectation. Obviously, as a fan, I wish they would. But as a realist, I knew that was probably a little too much to ask of this team, who was going into this year as a rebuild in C type year, as a let's see what the rookies and the draft class from last year can contribute and go from there. I feel like most of us had this team at around 10, 11 wins with a postseason berth and going from there. So that's fine. That's fine with me. They just need to keep competing, and I think they'll be okay.
Well said, Zach. Now, I want to tell you guys something really quick, right? This is going to sound terrible. Mike, you shouldn't do this. We're not them, blah, 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 blah. They had a better defense than us and all that. I hear you guys. But I want to let you guys know something. Through 6 weeks, the last time the Giants won the Super Bowl, you want to know what their record was after 6 weeks? 4-2. You want to know who they played in week 6?
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers. They were 4-2, and they had just beat the 49ers to get their fourth win. We're 4-2 also. I'm not saying that we're going to turn things around or anything like that. And the Giants, by the way, they won the Super Bowl with a 9-7 record. You just got to get to the postseason, guys. That's it. You got to get to the postseason. And once you get there, it's anybody's game. Right. The regular season doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter. I'm not telling you guys to buy into the whole, we're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not telling you guys to buy into it. I'm saying that you can't let anything in week 6 dictate how the outcome of the season is going to be. It's a lot of games left.
And can I just say, by the way, Jesus Lord, I think Mike and you have a deal, right, Mike? You've acknowledged him accepting the deal.
I got his jersey, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got his
jersey. I don't want you to think we're ignoring you. We got you. Not to wish injuries on anyone, ever. I don't do that shit, right? But at some point, what if you're in the fucking championship game and what happens to Purdy happens to the team they're playing? Suddenly it's a walk-off win in the first quarter. You know, like this shit happens to other teams as well. So right. The 49ers are not the only beat-up team. Now, are they the most at this point, 6 weeks in the year? I would say when you compare who actually got hurt and how long they're going to be hurt, yes. But other teams deal with injuries as well, and you never know what's going to happen. Just get to the dance, and anything can happen. And I get people are saying, why are we talking about this in week 6? Because we've had such deep postseason runs that we understand it's the losses and the wins in the early half of the season that end up determining whether or not you have a bye week, that end up determining whether or not you're going on the road to Philly instead of hosting that game, that end up determining whether or not you get extra time to rest players. So I am very glad that they won a last-second game against Seattle, a last-second game against the Cardinals, a last-second game against the Saints, a last-second game in overtime against the Rams, because that put this team in a position to where this loss today doesn't put them at 2-4, doesn't put them at 1-5. You know, like it puts them at 4-2, still atop the division. So I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I really do feel that way. Like I really do feel like, yes, it sucks they lost. They're still, they fell down a step, you know, like they didn't go from up here to way down here with this loss because they already had lost to the Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals. No, it would be the exact opposite if they had only beaten the Jags and had lost to every single NFC opponent. But that's not the case. This is the first NFC loss they've had. They're in a good spot.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I won't touch on anything else, man. That was well said.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think we're going to wrap up here. Jesus Lord, I saw this question earlier, and I apologize. I meant to answer you. Out of curiosity, how many times has Kyle had an injured quarterback since he's became the head coach here? I want to say twice, right? 2019 and 2023. At both times, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl.
I think you answered it backwards. He's saying how many times has Kyle had an injury? So only twice has he not had an injured quarterback.
Yes, correct.
Right. So out of 8 years, 6 times he's had an injured quarterback.
Yeah.
6 times, guys.
And it's because he neglects the offensive line, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah. This is not unfamiliar territory at all.
It's why they lost the last Super Bowl versus the Chiefs, because they neglect the offensive line. Chris Jones was able to blow up the middle on that third down play, force them to kick a field goal instead of getting a touchdown.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. For this,
guys.
Yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Don't get down too much. Obviously, taking the loss of Warner for the year. The shit hurts. I was telling Ashley today, I have a Purdy jersey, a Warner jersey, and a Bosa jersey. They're all fucking gone. They're all fucking hurt, man. Like, Jesus. Maybe okay, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. That's good for tonight's show. Maybe I need to buy some other teams' jerseys, is what I should say.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what I need you to do? Never mind. No, fuck it. I'll say it, but I don't mean it. But I'm going to say it anyway. Look at the rest of our schedule, and I need you to order a starting quarterback jersey for every single one of these teams, bro. Like, just go ahead and get them all right now. You know what I'm saying? No, here are my final thoughts. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say really quickly, speaking of jerseys, I had said after the 49ers signed Eddie Pinheiro, if he kicked one walk-off winner, I would buy his jersey. And he did that like the next week versus the Cardinals or 2 weeks later. I almost don't want to get it now because I don't want to curse anybody, but boy, has he been good. Boy, has he been good for us, Mike.
So here's the crazy thing, right? So Fred Warner gets hurt. And then, like, during the stream, I'm like, oh, man, well, damn, like, we can't have nice players. Well, we got Eddie Pinheiro. And then he kicks it, and they're like, oh, someone landed on his foot. He's hurt. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, wow. Like, enough already. They didn't even
land on his foot. They just straight up walked on it. As they're walking away, the kick's done. Everybody's, like, calmly walking away. And some buffoon, some dolt on the 49ers offensive line. I was hoping they would zoom up so they could actually see who it was, but I feel like they didn't want to do that. And he just steps right on it. Thankfully, it was his non-kicking foot. But damn, was that frustrating.
The NFL has to get better with calling plays also. Like, I know we didn't go through the play-by-play, but there was a big play in the game for the Buccaneers. And, I can't remember the player. He got tackled from behind. Like, the guy belly flopped on his back. The play went to the left of the offense.
It was Gifford, right?
Yes, Gifford, yes.
57,
it was a huge play in the game.
Yeah. Yep.
And he belly flops on him. They didn't throw a flag. Like, I don't know what the Niners players have to do to call flags. There was another play down the field, and it was somebody in our secondary. He's like, come on, throw the flag. Like, no, we got to learn to sell it. Yes.
It's the same play I'm talking about.
It was
Rashad
Green,
White's touchdown that he busted out to the edge. Yep. And the receiver's literally grabbing him by the side, preventing him from getting to the edge. If Green isn't touched, or isn't held, I should say, he probably sets the edge and doesn't allow Rashad White to walk into the end zone untouched.
Our players have to learn to sell when you're getting held. Yeah. Like, not for nothing. Like, just start falling to the ground so they can throw the flag because we fight through it and we battle through it. Like, this is my biggest issue with Nick Bosa. All of his holding calls, he just continues to fight through it. Dude, just flop. When they touch you, flop so the refs see it. You're not going to get there anyway. Our players have to learn to sell the flag. Like, they just have to learn how to do it. All right, my final thoughts.
Speaking of missed calls, and then you get to your final thoughts. I still fucking swear that offensive pass interference on Llewellyn was a backwards pass. Like, until I see a straight down the line angle of that camera, that looked like a throw behind the line of scrimmage. He caught it behind the line of scrimmage, and I swore McCaffrey was behind Mac Jones. And I'm only saying this because there's no OPI on a backwards pass, and I feel like this happened to the 49ers last year against Juice, and the 49ers argued the flag, and they ended up getting it picked up.
They won.
They won the argument, and I feel like that was the same. And CBS didn't give us a straight down the line angle of it to see where he caught it versus where he threw it. That OPI ended up screwing the Niners out of a promising drive, and they had to settle for 3. So
yeah. All right, guys, here are my final thoughts, man. We had a blast with all of you guys out here. It is getting a little late. I might have time to do the pressers, though. I might still do the pressers, so make sure you guys have your notifications turned on for Nothing But Niners. I might be coming right back to you guys in a couple of seconds. I want to check the score on the game. I know Zach said no spoilers, so I'm not going to ask how it's going, but I do want to see it. If you guys are watching this right now, and I see a lot of little symbols that show that people are watching from the Nothing But Niners channel, please, guys, come on over and subscribe to my guys at 49ers Hive. They do a lot of good work throughout the week, not just shows that I'm on, so please come and support those guys. And for those of you guys who are watching from the 49ers Hive channel, come on over to the Patreon, all right? The link is going to pop up at the bottom of the screen in about 10 seconds, but make sure you guys show some love over there. It is patreon.com/NB9ERS. It's over there. It's under Zach. Join the $5 tier and higher. That is where we get all the good action over there. You can watch the game with us. The only thing that we ask is no spoilers in the chat. That's it. That's our only rule. You want to trash talk people, you want to curse me out in there, I'm cool with all of that, but make sure you guys come on over there, okay? Patreon.com/NB9ERS. And that is all I've got for you guys. Faithful, it's a long season. We lost today, Didn't look good. We lost Fred Warner. We're going to be praying for health. We're going to be praying for better energy, better coaching, getting these young guys prepared. And we are also going to sage the fuck out of the stadium and the parking lot next time we are home, which is against the Atlanta Falcons. Bring your sage. I want to see pictures of it. If you guys bring sage to the game, let me know. Send me a picture on x.com/nothingbutniners, nothing but 9 ERS. And I'll retweet you guys. I'll shout you guys out. I'll do whatever I got to do. But we have to get the bad juju away from this team. It starts with us. Energy is transferable. Energy is transferable. It does not cease to exist. So we got to put that positive energy in the air. That's all I got for you guys.
That's right, guys. 4-2, top of the division. Ugly loss. Hurts not having Warner. I totally get it. But let's just zoom out, see where we're at. Maybe they can add a piece here or there. What, do you have something else?
I forgot. I'll do the sign off for you so you can hit the button.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish your final thoughts.
I think they'll be okay. Let's regroup, get a week. Next week, primetime football. We'll be live, I want to say Wednesday evening, previewing the 49ers-Falcons Sunday night game. So don't miss that. Make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate all you guys rocking with us, venting with us, like a group therapy session here when the 49ers lose like they did today. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, go enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. I guess we're rooting for the Chiefs, which feels weird, but it's a win-win in my books. Either the Chiefs win and the Lions are still tied with the 49ers for second place, or the Lions win and we get to laugh at the Chiefs for dropping, 3 straight or something like that. So
exactly. Yeah.
We'll see.
It's a win-win for us.
It's a win-win. Yep. All right, Mike, do us the honors, please.
I'm going to sign out as if I'm Matt, so don't look at me. Don't see the name, but I'm going to sign out as if I'm Matt. All right. Guys, this was a rough one here. Mac Jones had a very untimely interception. We lost Fred Warner for the game. It's looking pretty grim. Maybe it's time to sell. Maybe it's not. It remains to be seen. There's a lot of season left. So, faithful, don't quite give up. We got a lot of games here. We will be here previewing. We will be here overreacting and doing our instant recaps. But either way, we will be talking to you guys because we love and appreciate each and every one of you. So until next time, go Niners.